Hey everybody, I'm with a new Sister Soul friend who I met here in DC, Cece.
Hey.
Cece in DC.
CC and DC.
Cece in DC. What were we just discussing?
We were just discussing the can and cannot.
Yeah, what did you find about the conversation?
So I found about the conversation really intriguing, to be quite honest, and gonna have me thinking once I walk away from here, because the can and the cannot. So I said that you asked me what can you not do in a practical sense, and I said, I cannot change my race, right? You said,
yeah, I cannot drive my car as it is through the ocean. It won't work. And then I said the other thing, and you added to it. It was really
Yes.
funny. I was like, the same thing we were talking about the car. I was like, cannot impregnate a woman with my car. That's not how it works, right?
Right.
And then she goes,
I said,
this is really funny.
I said, no, you cannot impregnate with the car, but you can impregnate inside the car.
I love this
True.
addition. This is true.
Which is true.
And then we went on to talk about political candidates. We're not going to
Right.
name any. I don't want to name anybody because I don't want it to be about that name.
Right.
You got A candidate, you got B candidate, and people who say I could never understand why people would vote for B candidate. And then they say, these people say, I could never understand why people would vote for A candidate. And then we're like, what? Can too, right?
You can. You can.
Yeah, if you understand this English that we're speaking, then you can understand the other person's position. You may be that you don't have to agree with them, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, in fact, often you might not.
We might not.
But even if I think often another thing we discussed is that if you can understand them, if you can take the time to get over your own stubbornness and recognize that based on their own problems, their own privilege, their own traumas, their own trouble, their own biases and defenses and what they're protecting, and their cultures and where they come from, that often if you can get yourself over your own stubborn, supposed claims of inability,
right,
that you often kind of soften your own side a little
That's
bit.
right. And I agree with that. I do agree. And I do believe that if we all sit down and come to the table to learn and understand the perspective, like you just said, of another, then you can. So the cannot, there's just not too much you really cannot do.
Yeah, and it's sort of obvious. Whatever you cannot do, it's kind of actually obvious.
That's right. That's right.
But lots of times they're like, you can too understand, man. You can too. So,
Yes.
can too.
Can too. Thank you
Indeed.
for that.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah. Thank
Big
you.
hugs to Sister Cece in DC.
CC